This dude, Boston Connor, this dude, one half of the hammer, Dahn, Cowboys tone digs. Just like we said on Friday, this dude stole the weekend. Didn't even run straight. Nope. Probably could have been much faster, but his build, the way he threw the ball, I was incredibly impressed by. We all know the physical specimen that he is, and we knew that he was going to be off the charts statistically. That's like the best broad jump that the Combine's ever seen out of quarterback, best vertical leap that the Combine's ever seen out of quarterback, best 40 that the Combine's ever seen out of quarterback. And then his deep balls were going 60 yards with a flick of the wrist. I mean, right in the bucket. That's a 60-yard ball right in the bucket. Yeah. Shout out to that wide receiver also making a catch. And then people are talking about, well, his intermediate throws are the problem. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I saw a lot of great things out of this man. I think there was one or two misses that he had, but nobody's judging the wide receivers in this whole thing.
Nope, not
Everybody's
at all.
just assuming it's always the quarterback, always the quarterback, always the quarterback. It's like they have no timing with him. And also, if you're watching that thing as close as we all were, especially if you're on a team that needs a quarterback, there were some drills where these wide receivers were nowhere near running the right routes. Cohen would tell you where we need you to get to. They would cut that thing off 4 to 5 yards short, and then obviously they'd be early to their spot. And then all of a sudden, Anthony Richardson doesn't hit him, and they're like, well, they look at him.
Guy can't throw.
He's behind it. It's like, well, he's throwing to a guy he's never thrown to. And also that guy was literally they drew cones, and he was nowhere near the cone. Wide receivers, Jackson Smith and Jigba is maybe the most natural catcher that we've seen in a long time. He missed all of last year with a hamstring with Ohio State. There's a lot of rumors coming out like he could have played. Could he play? Is he opting to sit out pretty much, but they don't want to word it that way? And Jamar Chase sat out. Others have sat out. I was excited to see him back on a football field. This dude is immaculate at catching footballs.
Oh, yeah.
He's the number one wideout on everybody's board for good reason. He didn't run the 40. He did run the 3-cone drill. He did perform in all the practice on-field drills. There was some real spectacle out there. CJ Stroud, Jackson Smith and Jigba's college quarterback, he put on a spectacle. He's an absolute dog, this guy. He did not run a 40 either, maybe because he didn't want to be running next to Anthony Richardson and ran a 4.4.
Yeah,
that's probably the right decision to begin with. CJ Stroud, though, the way he was pinning balls onto these dudes, he's never, like, they got to catch that.
Yeah.
That counts as a drop, obviously. He was putting balls right on top of dudes, and it's like he drops it in the bucket to places. He said again that his favorite quarter, like that right there, that dude was nowhere near the route. Go back to that if you could, just rewind a little bit, Foxy. Like, this dude probably thinks he's a little bit slower than other wide receivers. Play. So he goes nowhere near, right? Like Jackson Smith and Jigba goes all the way there. So he's probably getting out there much faster. Now, CJ Stroud was able to catch up, but there's a couple throws that happened where the quarterback wasn't able to catch up and it was thrown out of bounds or thrown behind or thrown high, and people are blaming the quarterback. It's like, yo, let's look at the guy. Or there's cones.
Yes.
Hey, we can actually see what's going on. All in all, incredible, phenomenal weekend. Another wide receiver to keep your eyes on, Bryce Fords Wheaton out of West Virginia, ran a 4.38, and everybody on the internet that fucking talks about running 40 said, this guy's form was terrible. He stood straight up. Probably could have ran a 4.2. Now, I don't love that we got a guy who can run a 4.2 and we didn't win a lot of games last year. Let's throw the ball to him more. But the fucking Combine put on a show this weekend, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, and a lot of times, too, like if you're just watching, it's like, well, who cares? There's no pads, there's no pass rush. It's not that impressive. I mean, Daniel Jeremiah, who came in here, whose life is the draft, said he's never seen anyone have such a good throwing performance like CJ Stroud. And then you talked about it. Anthony Richardson, every single thing he did was like, holy shit, this guy's unbelievable. And, maybe it is. Yeah, there's other guys who have done some of the stuff he's done. Not really. No one's ever jumped as high as he has as a quarterback.
Ran,
4.4, yeah. The 3-cone, it really was unbelievable. And then when you look at how the NFL is built now for quarterbacks, it's like this dude can do everything that the game kind of is asking of these guys. Like when you look at the Colts, who are obviously looking at a quarterback, it's like, man, you get a guy who's mobile, who they really haven't had in the last ever, right? They're really the Colts never have. Matt Ryan could move. Yeah, that's true. And so could Andrew Luck. But these dudes are just absolute freaks.
Don't put Matt Ryan and Andrew Luck's mobility in the same sentence ever again. Matt Ryan cannot move. Andrew Luck was a dog.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck, very similar to how Josh Allen used to run, to be honest with you. Took way too many shots. Was not as fast, I guess, as Anthony Richardson, but he was a runner. He was an absolute runner, was a mover. He got beat up a lot. Now, that's the difference between some other running quarterbacks that don't seem to get beat up as much. But Shane Steichen, our new head coach, what he was able to do with Jalen Hurts, It's hard not to watch this video and just think like, yeah, Steichen will. That's Anthony Richardson. That's a quarterback right there. 6'4", 240.
Pretty casual.
You just think to yourself like, okay, if they're good coaches, which we've been told that they are,
Bingo.
with how athletic this guy is, with how his throwing mechanics seem to be, he was able to make throws to people he's never played catch with before in his life. Both deep balls, intermediate balls, short balls, he was able to do it. It's like, could you not turn this guy into what Jalen Hurts was? And remember, Jalen Hurts, first year didn't play that much, Carson Wentz, right? And then he played a little bit. Second year, they were wondering, can this guy make it into the NFL? This past year, they're like, is Jalen Hurts going to be able to be a guy, or is he going to get cut? That's how the Eagles go. Jalen Hurts worked on his deep ball, worked on his throwing, worked on everything. He became a guy. They're in the fucking Super Bowl. So is Anthony Richardson going to be Patrick Mahomes next year automatically? No. But does this guy showcase everything that you could possibly want in a guy that could be running your mobile quarterback offense? Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people on the internet, and I love that these people exist. Because these people have to exist for common sense to reign.
Yeah. Yep. The smart guy.
Oh, he threw it to a guy with nobody covering. It's like, yo, it's the fucking combine.
Exactly.
What are we even?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the guy that just caught a ball with nobody covering? For the running backs, guess what? Those pads can't actually tackle them. So are you going to talk about, oh, he's able to make a cut whenever there was nobody fearful of getting tackled? It's like, this is what the combine is.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson showed up and did everything that he possibly could. CJ Strouds showed up, did everything he possibly could. A lot of the wideouts showed up and did everything they possibly could. I think it was all up for everybody that participated in the combine. And there's always going to be detractors. And does this necessarily mean that they're going to be great in the NFL? No. But there was a lot of shit out there that if you're looking at a guy, you're thinking to yourself, boom, that could be my NFL guy. And I love that there was a lot of participation. I love the vibes all weekend. I like that NFL Plus had a bunch of ex-players on the field. That was like the biggest NFL Plus push I've seen ever out of that whole thing. I enjoyed the combine a lot. I think they did it well. And I think trajectory is like this for the old tights Olympics.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. The whole weekend was awesome. Trajectory speaking, Anthony Richardson went from like plus 10,000, number one overall, to plus 500.
Damn.
Just 9,500 points.
Yeah, no big deal.
That's all.
Bryce Young's still a favorite. He's like minus 200, and then CJ Stroud, and then Anthony Richardson. But to your point, like guys like Anthony Richardson, does he have to be the best thrower in the class? No, because if they use him right, and hopefully he goes to somewhere where they do use him right, and they go
Like the Colts.
Yeah, goes to maybe them. I don't know if they use their players right or not.
Oh, Shane
But-
Steichen. We got a whole new building.
Whole new
Whole
regime.
new
If he goes there,
building.
You don't have to be the best player or the best thrower in your draft class in the NFL if you're facing 8-man boxes all the time and you're facing man coverage all the time, because that's how defenses have to play you. And then, yeah, they talk about the window throws in the NFL and stuff like that, but when you watch like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles play, like they're facing man defense a lot because
A lot of those drags against man, those long routes coming all the way across the field, and you only got one person that can cover them due to the box having to be packed, which is a great point out of Tone. It's tough to keep up with NFL wide receivers. So all of a sudden, the bucket becomes a lot.
Yeah.
Will he miss? Yes. Is Derek Carr an accurate quarterback?
Yeah.
Is that what all these
At
people on
times.
here?
Oh, yeah. That's what
Yeah,
they're
he's
saying.
accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he misses 15 yards
Yeah.
left. That's a pick instead of a
lot.
touchdown. Like there's people are going to miss. This is going to happen. Obviously, there's the Patrick Mahomes who can put it boom, and there's the Aaron Rodgers. What's going to happen with him? That now that Derek Carr is signed with the Saints, that means the New York Jets are wide open, or is it the Green Bay Packers, or is he going to go to the Raiders? There's guys that can put a ball like this. Joey Burrow can put a ball like this. Josh Allen has learned.
Exactly.
Like over 3-4 years,
developed.
how to put a ball like this. But I think a large majority of the guys are throwing that have the, the other aspect of the game that the current NFL is kind of looking at and has. It's like their windows are a little bit bigger because the routes are different. The defenses they're playing are a little bit different. And I think all the guys that threw, Bryce Young, 5'10", 204 pounds, heavier, I guess, than he normally would be. But 5'10" was alarming in some people's eyes. I thought that was just understood.
Yeah, known.
I said it last week, like, oh, this guy's 5'10". This guy's 5'10". He's 5'10". I actually asked somebody, you worried? 5'10"? And then I guess when it came out that it was 5'10", people were like, did not expect him to be 5'10". I was like, I thought this was just universally known.